Hey everybody, welcome back to another Your Tech Report video, and guess what I have with me today?
Me! And today we're going to be talking about the 5 things we love about the iPad Pro.
That was my line.
This is your video of mine.
Now, before we get started, yes, this is the first video that Mark and I have ever done together
time
in the
ever.
same place, because Mark is based in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and I'm based in Woodland Hills, California. So together, our worlds are colliding in one video, which we thought would kind of be fun for you guys. He's visiting me, so why not do a video together?
If you want to experience this, you can listen to our radio show on SiriusXM.
Shameless plug,
We
yeah.
kind of do this often. We'll link to it up there, right?
Yeah, we'll link to it. Is that where it is?
It says your video.
That's like
you
with Will
do this.
Friedle. He
This
was
is very
pointing.
confusing.
Anyway, before we get started, if you like what you see, always feel free to let us know with a comment below. Hit that subscribe button below because we do a lot of giveaways, a lot of fun videos, and subscribing not only helps us bring you these videos, it also makes you instantly eligible to enter all of our giveaways. And more than anything, it kind of makes us feel good when you thumbs up and subscribe. It makes us feel good about ourselves.
Hang on, guys. Tell them about the giveaway.
What giveaway?
So today we're going to be talking about the 5 things we love about the brand new iPad Pro, but I need to ask you a question first, okay?
Yes.
There's 2 options for the iPad Pro. There's
Right.
obviously the new 11-inch.
Correct.
Which is the new 10.5-inch. This
Correct.
is very confusing. Which one did you go with? Because I think that we probably went with the opposite end of the spectrum.
Right. I went with this one is mine. I went with the 11-inch new iPad Pro.
Okay, because I went with the new 11-inch iPad Pro.
Well, let's look at the bright side of this. At least we'll be coming from the same point of view and have the same context here. We both bought the same one. You've tried the bigger one though. You did get some hands-on time with the bigger one.
So I actually ordered the bigger one.
Right.
I thought I was going to go with the bigger one, and then I'm like, this is just too big.
Even though it's
me.
smaller than it used to be, it's still a big device to hold in your hands like a tablet all day.
And I even had the keyboard case, and I returned
that made it
that.
bigger.
And I went with this nice slim. Look how slim it is.
Okay, well, now you're stepping into our territory
go
about what the video is. So let's start with the first thing we love. By the way, this is in no particular order. The first thing we love about the new iPad Pro is its design. Now, they did a lot of things. They really did a lot of new things on this new iPad Pro, not the least of which was, of course, they stretched the screen out, so now you hardly get any bezel on the side. You just get a big, giant screen. Now, there still is you'll still see there is a small bezel around there, but that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it, Mark? Because unlike a phone, which we hold in our hand, you can have a full screen and not cover it. With an iPad or any tablet, you're still going to be holding it to some extent with your hands, and if it went edge to edge, you'd be covering something with your fingers, wouldn't you?
And this is something we talked about earlier, which was when they talked about a bezel-less iPad, we said there had to be some kind of bezel, especially on the left and right sides of this device, because you need to be able to hold it somehow. And if you can see when you're palming an iPad like this, you need to be able to hold it somewhere. And they actually have really good palm rejection and finger rejection, which is something that
they've gotten better.
Yeah,
it started off good, but it's gotten much better. And another thing you'll see in the design is, of course, they flattened out. When they did the reveal video, I think they had a person taking the old iPad and doing this with their finger, and magically it would flatten out the side, and that's exactly what they did. You'll see it's flat. Like, what was the first iPhone to do this? Was it the 5 or the 4?
I think it was the iPhone 4 that had that metallic kind of aluminum.
Which I really love. It's
really
for some
nice.
people, it might look a little too industrial. Some people like the rounded back and the rounded sides. I kind of like the flat back, the flat edges. It feels more like a high-end device. It has a more premium feel to me. But also, you'll notice, like the iPhone 10 and up, which is now the 10S, the 10R, and 10 A, B, C, D, E, F, G, there is no home button. I don't really miss it because I'm used to it because I have an iPhone 10.
And this really honestly reminds me, it makes me feel like I'm Jean-Luc Picard in Star Trek The Next Generation.
Oh, good reference.
And someone passes him a tablet, and he's looking over the daily
see the
log.
bridge.
Exactly. and this is kind of what the futuristic image of what we thought an iPad was going to be, and this is now in our hands, which is really, really cool. Number 2 thing we love about this iPad Pro, or at least I do, is this brand new Apple Pencil.
Oh, yeah.
Again,
I have one too,
Mine's way nicer.
Yours is
than
nicer.
Yours.
We'll use yours then. Yeah.
The brand new Apple Pencil for a couple of reasons. Number 1, the way they've added the snap-on magnetic portability element of it. I mean, you can never lose it. It's always going to be there.
Thank you, Microsoft engineers.
Yeah, thank you. We might remember this from previous Surface episodes. It's hard to get it off there. Like, you could shake it. I mean, it will if you go pretty hard. It'll go off.
You scared the crap out of me.
It pairs automatically thanks to that T2 chip.
The W1 chip? Is it
W1, W2?
So we'll put it down below.
The W chip.
Yes.
W chip. It magnetically holds on there, and it automatically pairs. It says Apple Pencil right up there. Well, you can't really see it now. Oh, Oh, Apple Pencil, tap to connect. So right there, it gives you that ability to connect the pencil.
And by the way, it's only saying that because he's picked up my pencil. His is already connected, so now it's sees a new pencil.
It's confused.
And it's confused, yeah.
We've confused it. But the precision I find in this pencil, and you haven't used a pencil in the past, right?
Correct. Oh, no, I did. I used it. I used the old one, but I found there was a little bit, because of the slower screen, there was a little bit of lag between, and listen, if you're an artist and you're doing designs, there's, and there's any sort of lag between what you're drawing and what you're seeing, that can be a big disconnect. But I found with this one, again, I'm coming from a 9.7. That's the other thing I should tell you. My old iPad was 2 generations ago. The iPad Pro 9.7, not the 10.5. So I find that this one is extremely fast and responsive to that pencil. Pencil works great.
Pencil works phenomenally well. Battery life, I find, is way longer.
Okay.
And I think that's also one of these hidden things, because it's always charging when it's on the actual iPad. You never really give it an opportunity to lose that battery power, whereas in the past, it had this really awkward plug into the bottom connector thing.
I always felt like it was going to break. One thing I wanted to add, and then we can move on from the pencil after this, but it looks a lot more like a pencil. So you'll see this flat side here, and that the purpose is twofold. Number one, you just saw, if it's going to connect to the side of your iPad, you need that flat edge to give it something to anchor to. So it's great for that. But I find, Mark, that it also feels more like a pencil now.
And the other thing is, let's tell them about the double tapping.
Oh,
which,
my
by the way,
gosh.
I haven't actually got it to work quite well. Have you
Oh,
got
it works
working?
perfectly on mine.
Oh, okay.
But then again, I haven't gone too in depth with this. Basically, there are sensors inside the new Apple Pencil, again on the flat side here, that when you double tap, you can switch functionality. It allows you to program what you want to switch around. The default is really good though, because the default goes from the regular thin pencil, double tap goes right to the eraser. The third thing we love about the new iPad Pro, and this is again something that was a bigger jump for me than it was for Mark, because Mark had the last gen 10.5 inch, and if we didn't mention this earlier, they did stretch to an 11-inch screen in the same form factor as the old 10.5. They just stretched the screen out a little bit. The sound on this one, if you thought the 10.5 had good sound, the new 11-inch has incredible sound. And I have to applaud the Apple engineers because, being a radio show, which we shamelessly plugged earlier, and again, we'll give a link to the radio channel, radio information up top. We kind of like sound. Audio is a big part of our lives. And if you know things about sound, you'll know sound needs air in order to be heard. Sound needs space in order to create a proper resonance, to echo, to get that deep, rich sound. So the fact that they can get any good sound out of something this thin is a miracle. But the fact that you can get such rich, I was blown away by the bass. Because again, bass requires air and sound and space. And this doesn't look like it has a lot of it, but they must have made some nice cutouts on the inside, because the bass is nice, the mid-range, you can hear music well, you can hear the spoken word really well, which again, doesn't always go hand in hand. Usually it's good at one thing, but not the other, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. Plus, you got the stereo speakers on this. So you got speakers on both sides of the device, so left or right or top or bottom, depending on which way you're looking at it. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. So no matter which way you use it, you're getting that stereo sound. Let's take a perfect example of something here.
Is something going to get demonetized? Oh, that's good.
Now the number 3. What number are we on now?
We did the design, the Apple Pencil, the sound. We're on 4.
I think number 4 is going to be this case.
Absolutely.
What do they call this case? A smart case cover thing? I don't know.
This, you mentioned this. This is the reason I bought this year, and I didn't buy the previous generation, because last year's 10.5-inch Pro
Didn't have one of these.
It only had a keyboard case and a magnetic cover. Now it has, this is the Folio case. That's what it's called.
Smart cover?
Smart Folio case. Smart Folio?
Check the description down
Yeah,
below.
we'll
Figure this out eventually.
But now it protects mostly the entire iPad, right?
Now, what's amazing about this goes back to our number 1, which is design, and that is in the back of this iPad, there are hundreds of magnets.
Right. I think they're along the sides.
They're all over the place.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
along the sides. They're in the middle. They make sure the orientation is perfect, so that when you go to put the case on, just kind of like
on the
this,
back too. That's right.
it just snaps on perfectly.
Yeah.
It's perfectly aligned, and boom,
Yeah.
it automatically controls. And the magnets on the front too that control the sleep-wake function. So when you close that, you can see right there, it's waking up the device, and you can kind of see it like this when you're going like that. You can
And
see
you'll notice it still keeps. You can show them how thin the profile is. You're not really adding
profiles.
much to the profile, and the difference is they show a lot of. You'll see a lot of stuff with the keyboard, the new Magic Keyboard. It's not a Magic Keyboard. They call it the keyboard case. The new keyboard case is slim, considering it has a keyboard, but is it slim on its own? Not so much.
And that's the reason I actually returned the keyboard case on the original one.
I told you not to get it, not because it isn't good, because it was going to make it too bulky.
But here's the reason I did that is because this has Bluetooth, and because this has the USB Type-C connector. Is that one of our favorite things?
No, but it's pretty cool.
Okay. And because it has a USB Type-C connector, you can plug in external keyboard. You can use a Bluetooth keyboard. You can use Apple's keyboard if you want, or you can use a third party from Logitech and other companies like that, and they work quite well. So you don't need to have that built into it unless you use that feature often.
Well, I should say, though, that not every USB-C peripheral will work with this. There are some things that Apple does not allow connectivity to still keep it as a mobile device and not really allowing you to use it as a desktop solution, which we're hoping will change when they create a hybrid iOS or hybrid operating system. But, it still works really, really well. And that brings us to the last thing. Well, it's not really the last thing. It's just the number 5, because as I said, no particular order. We love all the features equally. Kind of.
That was a pledge.
We really should do these more often. We're very in tune with each other. That's what friends are like. Is the absolute speed of this? Is it the Bionic? Is it the Bionic 12X?
A12X
Bionic. It's got and the onboard graphics chip. Needless to say, I did a Geekbench test. I downloaded Geekbench, and I think Geekbench 4 is the latest version for iOS. This new iPad Pro 11-inch has higher Geekbench numbers than my MacBook Pro from 2016. Once again, your context, your experience will vary based on what you're coming from. But again, Marc is coming from the last generation 10.5-inch, last year's model. And even compared to that, this is a big upgrade. And for me, coming from the 9.7 2 years ago, it is night and day. Definitely, we love this device. Those are 5 things we loved about it. I'm sure there's more. I counted, there were 5.
There are 5. There are probably more, but you know what? We'll save those for another time. Let's spend some more time with this lovely bad boy.
And let us know what you think. Is there anything you want to know? Anything you want us to test on here? More features we didn't talk about? Things you'd like to hear? Let us know with a comment below. But for now, we're going to wrap this up. Marc's in town. We're probably going to knock off. Should we do one more video?
Oh, please.
Let's be naughty. We're going to do another video. We hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you on the next one.
Could I try the snap your finger and I disappear?
Oh, man, I should have done it like
Where am I?
He's right over there.